mask is the thing, so... I was talking about Ubel. Yep, yes, I know what Ubel looks like. I'm just saying I can only see half his face. Yeah, Collision Series' very own, our resident Lucario player, as he has been playing for quite some time at this point. Always an interesting scenario and a pick to see a Lucario out here. This is one of this game's more gimmicky characters for the obvious factor in that he has aura, in that, the more damage he takes, the stronger his attacks become, especially his aura-based attacks, and the fact that it also stacks with Rage, which is a pretty crazy thing to stack with, to be honest. And Falco is the kind of character that at low percents can be combo food, so I'm anxious to see what Lucario can do to really break the percent deficit. Yeah, it's interesting because against Lucario, it's that echoing on what you said. You don't want to feed the meter against him, right? You don't want to really nickel and dime hits against Lucario because eventually he might just come back strong if your neutral's not strong enough to not get hit by him. Fortunately for Rondor, though, he plays Falco, so a character that can just delete stocks out of nowhere from very low percents rather than having to reset neutral at higher percentages. Considering that's exactly what he's doing right now, but he doesn't have to. And the first stock's actually going to wind up going to Rondor for it. Oh, you're giving him, you're pre-johnning for him. Those commentators got to stick together, all right? We got to pre-john for our boys when the time comes around.
Big hit like that to even things back out, and despite the aura going down, I mean, we're still going to be seeing Ubel slightly. I mean, Lucario has combo potential as well.
It's an interesting way to balance him. I feel like they gave Lucario some of the most awkward hitboxes in this game to negate for the fact that at ridiculously high percent, he's the borderline strongest character in the game. Because fun fact about Lucario, I believe he's among the weakest, if not the weakest character in the game, but when he doesn't have aura at the lower percents. And Falco's, he's got that fast-falling combo food potential for sure. Ooh! Oh, I'm liking the little crouch steps right there to get that spacing in. What a beautiful little ledge trap on the part of Rondor right there. He's feeling himself a little bit doing that one.
Great timing right there from Rondor as well. Just executing everything to perfection, and we're seeing it right there. A quick 55 right off the back, but like we said, this is not the time to be playing with your food. You want to start getting that damage built up on Lucario as quick as possible, because once Lucario starts feeling himself, once he starts getting those big hits, you're not going to be having a fun time. And trying to get in on a character like Lucario, who's glowing, literally getting glow sticks ready on you, it's not going to be a fun time. Ooh.
Yeah, this ain't the kind of rave that you want to go to for sure, especially when you have to reset it against him. But you're up a whole stock against Lucario. This is the best position that you could possibly be in against him until you lose the stock to the Aura Sphere. And now all of a sudden the game can be virtually even if Ubel gets one solid opening in. And he does. He's got to capitalize on it, getting both hits of the neutral air to get that damage up, but letting the Aura Sphere whiff. And now we have ourselves a more even game once again.
Oh! Diving headfirst into the blast zone in his own accord is Ubel.
Hey.
It's unfortunate, man.
Hey, man, he just got off work.
Yeah, he got off work.
He got off work.
You see it in his face. That's a work face right there.
Yeah, that's the face of a man who works.
That's not your average 9 to 5 right there. That's a hard, 10 hour. I just came out of a 10, 12-hour shift right there.
Seems like a basic 9 to 5 for Rondor right there, taking that game in pretty solid fashion, going down to the last stock, but not taking too much percentage on that last one. What I want to see from him more than anything else is I want to see a little bit more aggression. I want to see the Falco in the Lucario's face. I want to see the Falco stop Aura from being a factor in this as much as possible. Like I said, it's not like a nickel and dime character like Ganondorf, or to an extent characters like Bowser as well, where you go in, you get the grab, you get your few hits, time to reset neutral. Falco, if you play dominant enough, if you're good enough at the game, this character doesn't have to really play neutral with you.
No, not really.
And this is the one character in the game that you really don't want to play that against, because it's the character that brings back games from raw neutral exchanges from the depths of hell for sure. So yeah, gonna have to see some good adaptation from Ubel if we want to see him bring this set back.
I do like the stage pick, staying into small battlefield territory. So, just keeping it pretty neutral, pretty good a stage to combo off with the platforms. Just a pretty neutral stage overall for both these characters. However, the more platforms you give a character like Falco, the more they're able to execute and extend these combos. Right now, you're trying to see Ubo trying to find a mark, but, you know, it just seems like what we saw from last game. What?
Oh, okay.
What a grab.
I was going to say, you know, this guy's really not making the best usage of the frame 1 reflector that this character has against him, but apparently...
no need.
Yeah, apparently no need. Apparently I'm just going to grab Lucario out of his uppy, just raw. That was sick.
Yeah, great call out right there from Rondor, despite still losing the stock first. I mean, still keeping himself in the game right now. Nice drag down into the down tilt though.
Yeah, that was real good on top of that. And, you know, if you're Ubel, you know, another thing you gotta really be focusing on are those wave bounce, what am I trying to say? Are those wave bounce R sphere cancels into the up smashes? It's way more consistent for him to be able to do that in the air than on the ground. It's not like how Lucario was in prior Smash games where it was more like a ground setup for sure. But Falco, you know, it's funny, despite being a bird, you know, he doesn't actually have the best airspeed in the game, so you can actually catch Falco's drift on the way down out of disadvantage with that move pretty easily, especially if you have a lot of aura in the R sphere. Just becomes that much bigger. I don't know if Lucario just sucks. Did you see that? He only got the first hit of the F tilt.
Yeah.
Angling it down, actually. I can't say I've ever seen that before in my life.
Yeah, but like you mentioned before, going back to like the airspeed of Falco, despite him not having the best airspeed, he does have some of the best jump height in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, for him being a bird, and you know, just really being able to just catch their opponent slipping in those senses, like just really putting yourself in a good predicament right there. Nice exchange right there from Ubel, gonna miss the punish, but still, Ubel's been doing exceptionally well this time around. Finally using the reflectors. Rondor, is he off stage? He's not gonna get the punish though.
Yeah, it's interesting how he uses the reflector like in a more defensive, like sort of Sakurai-ish designed fashion. Like I'm not gonna jump in and just like, you know, see when he's gonna throw the R sphere to reflect it to actually try to hit him. Instead, he's using it at a disadvantage.
It's more like a condition. Yeah, like, it's more like a conditioning tool. You don't want to abuse it too much because then Ubel just becomes aware, like, okay, I know you're gonna use it eventually. Maybe I can punish you right afterwards. Just like he gets the punish with that F tilt. Finally gonna seal the stock, give himself another lead, but nothing to get too comfortable with yet. But you know, you don't want to just continuously throw out that reflector unless you know your opponent is just willingly and just always throwing out that projectile. So I like that. I like the way that Rondor's using it. Despite it may not be the most optimal way, but it is paying off. And despite that, he will get the stock and bring us to a final stock game. Ubel in winner side, stock life.
I feel like he could have pivot grabbed there, or better yet, just gone for like a pivot F tilt to regain stage control right there. I understand going for a forward smash because it could have potentially even killed if you got enough of a charge on it, but unfortunately the timing was just not there on the part of Ubel. I totally understand going for that option, but it was just a little more risky, and as you can see, he wound up actually losing the stock for it as a result instead of just going for F tilt, and he wound up losing the game because of it as well. Off of one